So without further ado, I'd love to highlight, show off, if folks are here to speak to the projects, the finalists for the hackathon. And so I'm going to go in no particular order. Actually, I'll go in order of submission for the finalists. So we've chosen 4 finalists. We'll review what they made. I emailed all the finalists. Some of them were able to make the community office hours today. If they are here, they can speak to it. If not, I'll do my best, kind of talking about why we picked it and why we thought it was so great. So I think a few folks saw this one on the Discord already. This one we were very excited to see. One, it's just kind of cool, right? Having AI drive a drone. There's also like kind of video of the drone doing their thing based on commands from Semantic Kernel. But the other reason why we were really excited about this being one of our finalists is it's showing off a lot of the concepts that we're wanting to introduce with assistants. So as part of the kind of the videos and the GIFs, they're actually showing how these different assistants, the drone pilot and the project manager, can talk to each other in order to pilot this drone. So I want to take a pause there and see if El Bruno is online to speak about their submission. Otherwise, I can do a little bit more.
Yes, there. Matthew, I'm here. Hi, and hey, thanks. Really, thanks. This is just a pet project for me to learn more about semantic kernel. I need to do something quote in real. And I say, okay, maybe I can do something with drones and C#, get here. And hey, it was nice to learn about the skills, the project manager idea. I really, really love how we can put it all things together. And hey, I like it. It was a fun experience. I have a couple more ideas already. Now, about after the new releases, the new blog post and more, oh my God, I can do more here. But yes, it's just a fun project. Don't do this at home, please. On production, at home, yes.
No, it's exciting to see kind of the project manager concept. If folks aren't kind of familiar, you can actually define multiple agents, define them as plugins, and then give them to a project manager, and they can actually coordinate multiple of these things. And so you can actually see kind of in the console logs, the project manager talking to that drone agent. And we really think next year, 2024, is going to be the year of agents. And this project manager concept we borrowed very heavily from AutoGen. And so we imagine a lot of other types of ways agents to talk to each other in the future, and this is a good example of it. Are there any questions from the community, the call on Bruno's project? If not, I guess I have a question for Bruno. Like, what comes next? What other pet projects do you have kicking up for Semantic Kernel?
Hey, I wanted to add some video features. One thing that I didn't have time to try here is to do, we can also access the camera of the drone. The drone is a super cheap, not expensive toy drone, but we have some video features here. So I was thinking, okay, I maybe can, I don't know, I want to do something with video. I need to think about that, but because it's easy right now, little pieces connecting all together, not easy, but we can do that. Probably the next evolution of this with something with video. I need to think about that.
Awesome. And I know early next year, top of mind for us is adding more multimodal interfaces to Semantic Kernel. So hopefully we can get some video models to help you out with those projects. Alrighty, well, thank you, Bruno. And thank you for the wonderful submission.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Okay, so next we have the, there we go. The secure Gen mask submission is the contributor for this one. I have the list of everyone's names on another screen. Yeah. Oh, there. Okay. Great.
Yeah, it's hard to pronounce. That's okay.
Okay. Yeah, you want to speak to your submission? I love this one because it's very enterprisey.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, primarily, so the motivation behind this was, one of the reasons why enterprise concern about using AI is usually around, security, PIIs, and, privacy and things like that. So, just thinking of how can we, how can we use like semantic kernel, and I had fun also like doing this. So this is more like just a plugin that can do that functionality. So the plugin works in two ways, and then it works in a way that it uses like a local function to identify the PIIs, which is just like normal regular expressions. So, and then he also then has like another AI-driven capability borrowing from Azure AI Service. There's something called Azure Language, and there's a PII detection engine as well. So I just did like a configuration on the plugin in the config to say, do you want to use Azure or do you want to use the local, the local function? So if you do use like any of them, you will be able to invoke that function. So that's one way. Another interesting thing is there are multiple ways you can actually use the function in the long run. You can use it as a plugin, or you can actually use that as a native function to like identify the PIIs and then redact them from the messages. So you can do that either from the message going to the AI or the one coming back from the AI. I mean, I wouldn't expect the AI to be giving you PIIs back, but who knows, right? Because there are different models this day. So you can also use that. So it's like forward and backward. And then the last one is also, the last concept is around using the function hook, which is like events that you can listen to before the prompt is, rendered, or while before the function is executed. And then if you do that, you can actually either also pass some instruction of reduction into the prompt, or you can just run the native function inside that event. So yeah, so pretty much it's pretty light. But yeah, I really had fun, working on this. In my opinion, I think enterprise customers are very, very concerned about privacy. So if we could like build this into something that's like, it's like almost like standard, in semantic kernel, it would make it would make the adoption like way, way much faster. So that's my opinion. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. No, and I couldn't agree. Like, we added these event hooks, and you're probably one of the first people that we've seen actually use it for these enterprise scenarios that we're imagining. Like, oh, we need to redact things. We need to make things compliant. So early next year, we definitely want to have some out-of-the-box hooks, and we're definitely going to be referencing your hackathon to see how we can have similar behavior as out-of-the-box functionality in semantic kernel. So thank you for your submission. For everyone else, definitely check out these different events that are now on top of the kernel. There's one where the function's about to be started. You can see there's one on when the prompt is being rendered or after rendered, and then of course after the invocation. And AO does a really great job of showing how you can either manipulate the prompt that's sent to the AI, or actually provide some native function to change it. So thank you. This was a great submission.
Thanks, everyone.
All righty. Okay, the third one, we have the History Explorer ChatGPT plugin. Is Jay Creek here? Okay, if not, I'll briefly speak to it. So on the face of it, it looks pretty simple. It's like, oh, there's some prompts behind the scenes that allow you to kind of simulate a different type of person and get responses back. The reason why the Semantic Kernel team was particularly interested in this one is because if we open up some of the prompts, there's actually a bunch of different prompts, and it uses a planner to actually build these stories for these different personas. And for the Semantic Kernel team, being able to dynamically create personas is a really intriguing concept for us. Because I already mentioned, we believe next year, 2024, is all going to be about agents. And what we're learning about agents, especially as you start having agents work together, is you want, just like in the real world, you want a diverse set of agents that bring their own perspective, that have their own persona. So you want a designer agent to have a designer lens to make sure things look good. You need a PM agent to make sure things have requirements and are delivered in time. You need a coder that actually knows how to code, right? And then when you put them all in a chat room together, they can actually develop an application or solution that is better than if a single agent with their own single worldview tries to solve the problem. So we thought this was a really great kind of exploration into personas and making them dynamic in a way that the semantic kernel team hadn't thought of before. Okay. Cool. So that was jCreek's submission. And then the last one we have is Blazekill's submission where they created a integration with Ollama, which was really exciting. And then they built an additional plugin for Cypher and this Corgi quiz app that actually brings all these different pieces together. So is Blazekill on the call at all? If not, I'll just flip through this video real quick, kind of just highlight some of what they've done. So they've worked on building kind of this full architecture where in the middle here, semantic kernel is actually playing around. But what we were really intrigued by the semantic kernel team, well, one, seeing all these pieces kind of come together is always exciting for us, kind of escaping just these toy projects to kind of like actual enterprise deployments of these things. But what we've really seen a big push for is the use of local models. So if you're not already familiar, Ollama is a really great tool to use local models on your own machine. But one of the challenges on the semantic kernel side is we don't have a really good connector with Ollama. And so we've heard tons and tons of people saying, hey, I'd love to use a local model. I'm scared about what's happening with OpenAI and things changing all the time. I want more options, right? I want to be able to use, say, Llama 2 locally on my machine. And so we were really excited about what Blazekill was able to build. We can go back to it. Because it was one of the next things that we wanted to work on, right? Is actually have a Ollama connector. And so if this is something that the community is interested in trying with local models, I highly recommend checking out their NuGet package, playing around with it. And I love that they're already using the new builder pattern that's coming with semantic kernel in order to add these new models from Ollama. So that's definitely one piece of it. And then if we look at the CodeGen plugin, they added some additional capabilities on it. So we were just impressed by one, they built one of the core features that semantic kernel has been lacking, that the community is going to appreciate with local models. And we were just impressed by them building these additional plugins and then wrapping it into this Corgi AI application that kind of shows kind of how semantic kernel can work in a production deployment, and is actually kind of fun and enjoyable to see it work. So there's actually this kind of question and answering experience where the AI is kind of testing your intelligence in different areas, right? And will tell you kind of what's right or wrong in these different areas. Okay. So those were our final kind of finalists. Our submissions. We had a ton of different submissions. These were just the ones that we picked to highlight for today. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Now we get to announce who the actual winner is. So everyone, drum roll, please. I'm the only one on mute. So what we ended up choosing was Blaze Kills, the last one that you saw. And yes, we'll link to the video. Actually, I'll link to all of the finalist submissions in the chat so folks can check them out. So yeah, the one we ended up choosing was the Corgi AI and the Olama connector. Just because like it's an entire NuGet package that the community can already start using, and it really shows or highlights where the Semantic Kernel team wants to go immediately in the next year, which is even more model support, so that folks aren't tied to just OpenAI. And let me go ahead and share all the links. We have the drone one, just as a remind folks, the secure gen mask, which is really exciting because it shows kind of the enterprise uniqueness to Semantic Kernel. So we love the enterprise. The History Explorer, which kind of shows the future of personas and more importantly, dynamic personas. And then lastly, I'm sharing Blaze Kills project where you can get access to their video. So thank you. Obviously, we love seeing cool shit being built, and all of those that participated in the hackathon definitely did that. All of the finalists, we will be writing a blog post kind of highlighting what you built. So you'll get some public recognition. So yes, we're very happy. And I think what I'm selfishly happiest about is y'all helped kind of bug test the release candidate. We would have not, as a Semantic Kernel team, been able to catch all of the issues that all of you did if it weren't for the hackathon. So I'm very thankful and appreciative for all of the grind all of y'all did, especially with lacking things like solid documentation. So I'm frankly amazed y'all were able to build anything. And what y'all did build was amazing.